Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm continuing to work on my 2024 planner. I'm starting out by showing the finished pages so you can decide if you would like to spend a few minutes with me. If you do, I really appreciate your time. I've really enjoyed being part of the community here on YouTube, and I really enjoy watching other people's videos, and I love hearing your comments. So I am following the prompts for Junk Journal January. I find the prompts helpful to shape my approach as I build my pages. Junk Journal January is hosted by Meg at Megjournals in collaboration with Get Messy Art. Although I am following the prompts a little bit out of order, I will link to her prompts below, as well as to a spot where you can download some printable ephemera provided by Get Messy Art. So I am going to follow the prompts neutral, foliage, garden, opposites, and whimsical in March, and then a different set of 5 prompts for April. And those are the 2 months that I'm going to cover today. So I tried to do a little bit of my dithering and decision making in advance, but I got out my month titles and my stamped calendars for these months and my prompt list. And so for my first page, I'm going to try to attach some neutral elements. So I've got this tuck spot that I made on, there's my printable ephemera from Get Messy Art that I did not end up using. And this tuck spot that I made in one of my earlier attempts to build my January pages. And some feathers that I made during the December ephemera challenge, Dephemermeber. So I'm just going to place these elements, look at these elements, and try to decide what I'm going to put on the page. I really want to get that tuck spot in. So the tuck spot is from Get Messy Art printable, and it's already mounted on this really interesting paper made from banana leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and tear that into a roughly circular pattern, and I'll just keep the rest of that banana leaf paper for collage later. So that'll give me a double tuck spot, and I think the doily goes nicely there because of the circular shape. So I think I'll keep that. And I've got these inky leaves that I made during Dephemermeber. So these are a Tim Holtz die, and I just did some ink smooshing for the background, and they're a little bit shiny. I don't think that shows very well on the video, but they are just a little bit reflective. So I'll pick out a couple of leaves, try to get different shapes so that I can include those on the page. Once I've chosen that, I'll save the rest for another time. And for the facing page, I'm going to put my planner page that I've printed out. And one of the prompts that I'm going to be working on is borders. And so I've picked out this border. That's an Elizabeth Craft Designs die. And I've got a few bits and pieces that are kind of coordinating colors. So I'm trying to decide which of those little pieces I'm going to use for my decorations on the planner page. I've got some dates that I did during December. I have a tab. That tab is vellum, so you can barely see it. And then I like this torn out magazine page. It goes well in terms of the greens, but those ladybugs that are all over it, they introduce a red element, and I really don't have any red going in this planner, so I think I'm going to skip it. So whatever I'm not selecting, I'm just going to set aside for a different time. And then I'm going to go on to the next spread, and I've got my inspiration painting, which is a garden painting, and it really is evocative for me of what spring feels like here on the Gulf Coast. It's just really lush and overgrown. And then I've got some pictures of trim from Better Homes and Gardens. If you have not picked up a Better Homes and Gardens recently, they have really stepped up their game. They're even using better paper these days. So for the facing page, I'm going to build a belly band to hold this card front that's got some journaling space on the back. But I don't think that velvet trim piece is really going to be enough for the belly band. I think I need a little bit of brown paper behind it. So I'll just make a note to myself to get a little bit of brown paper to give that belly band some heft. So for the next couple of pages, I'm going to address the foliage prompt, and I have quite a number of die cuts here. The dies are some Elizabeth Craft Designs, some from Tim Holtz, And I've just tried to pick out some coordinating colors. I've got a few little paper flowers that I don't end up using, and a few tag shapes that I'm not going to include on this page. And I've got this butterfly element, and so I think that's going to go with my foliage. But I think I need a little bit of separation between the foliage and the blue background, so I've made a note to get a little vellum or something to kind of separate it a little bit better. Now I've got a pocket that I built into this section, and then on the facing page I'm going to put a little bit more foliage. So I've got a slightly different color selection here. The leaves I made during December. That's also a Tim Holtz die, and I just did some ink smushing. I did this the same week as the feathers. And I've got these blue leaves, which is a color not found in nature, but really goes with this page. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity to include it. So now that I've got all the foliage picked out and I've made a note to get a little bit of vellum, I think that I will glue some of this down. So here we go. I've got my month title. I have my neutral spread. That neutral page includes a double tuck spot. I like how that turned out. I've got my planner page that includes a border. I also have a die cut border on the facing page. So we've got the borders taken care of. Then I've got my inspiration painting, which definitely has garden going. It's by Henri Rousseau, who was a professional tax and toll collector who came to art late in life. And as a tax collector, I don't know that he was my brother in accounting, but he's at least a cousin. So I have to admire his career change. And then I've got this photo of trim, but I've got some real velvet trim on the facing page on my belly band, which brings an element of texture, both photographic and actual. Got my little journaling card here. And then we're going to go on to the foliage page. I've got quite a variety of foliage. Got this butterfly that I made during the December ephemera challenge. And then the washi tape on this pocket is a glitter washi tape that has got the texture of fine grit sandpaper. Kind of fun. Then I've made a little half-page pocket on the other page. So that dark blue paper is too dark to write on, but I've made a little spot to stick some journaling cards. So that is going to be handy. And then I'm going to have a little bit of space for whatever else comes in March. And then we're going to go on to April. So for April, I've picked out this marbled paper, and I don't think my month title works, so I got some gold to cut my month title. Then I'm going to have a page for my planner layout. I'm going to have the next page for my inspiration painting for the month. I think you'll recognize that one. Got a page for some torn elements that I need to go get. And then for the facing page, I have got some journaling space and some decorative elements, though I think those ribbons may be a little bit too 3D. So let me glue that down. Here's my April cover page with my nice gold title. And it is very much in contrast with everything else I have going on, so I'm going to definitely count that as eclectic. Going on to the next page, I've got my planner page with my dates and my decorative elements. My inspiration painting is, of course, Starry Night by Vincent Van Gogh, or Van Gogh. I've heard it said both ways, and I don't know which is correct, but I really love that painting, and I know a lot of people do. Next, we've got the page with the torn elements, and for this torn border on the side, this is a snippet roll that I did for a previous project that's sewn down, but it definitely has torn elements. And it is very much the opposite of this journaling paper I've put down. It's a little hard to see, but it's got a hexagonal pattern on it, and it's really meant for taking notes for chemistry, so you can draw chemical bonds. Not that I ever did that. There's my Kintsugi house for Dephemermeber, and very much opposites of one another. There's some more of that hexagonal paper. And the last prompt is Whimsical, and I think that it's this blank white page that needs to hold my whimsical element. because then we're coming up to where I'm going to put May. But I really don't know what to do. I am just not a whimsical person. And so I really was torn about this. And so what I ended up with is a question mark. So TBD. But thank you for joining me. See you next time.